Restoration is brought to you by
High Sense, everyday prices for everyday people.
Yes, extra long sanitary pad for extra comfort.
We got yes protection.
Adonko hand sanitizer. Sure odo.
Hello, you're welcome to Restoration with Stacy. We're brought to you by Kind Kids, Yas washing powder and Yas sanitary pad, Hooch Corn and Choco Flakes, Adonko original hand sanitizer and Adonko next level, High Sense everyday prices for everyday people, La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, and of course a big thank you going out to our Glam Squad, Aseda Fabric for the fabric that I'm wearing today, to ABS Lux Line for my beautiful outfit, to GH Beauty Artistry for my makeup, and a very big thank you going to Inshilo for my hair extension today.
Restoration.
I remember the days I just couldn't go to the gym because it was that time of the month. Yas extra long sanitary pad took the worry away. Easy.
Yes, comfort. I got yes, confidence. I got yes.
The new Yas extra long sanitary pad is the joy of every woman. It is extra absorbent and fits perfect. Don't allow anything to hold you back when it's that time.
Wow. Yes, yes, yes.
Feel confident, stay fresh.
Hi. Is it supposed to be that time of the month? Yes.
I got yes, confidence. I got
Yes.
we got yes, protection. I got
Yas extra long sanitary pad for extra comfort.
we got yes, protection.
Hello, your friend Jackie. So we will be a winning who are there just to send me and Pimpino, you to me 5 gems if in Kitadia, you need your Brucia, your fans, any and down for any. Nanso, who bet to me about home by using Adonko hand sanitizer, debia, any bribia. Every say you to me 5 gems if in Yama Yasa is so. Adonko hand sanitizer, bet to me about home by debia, free gems, bacteria, you need in home. Adonko hand sanitizer, sure or dog. Never home by
FD ahwehwe say adinkra toimu agye atum say eye.
Would you need high sense table top fridge? Wait and keep power. I think me can form a hotel for any students and more hostels. High sense double door fridge and keep power. Wait, won't be and shame man and say, where a high sense cross door fridge. So, a coolant term. It's an inverter technology level mutino. Yedum kanya kra. Akoso ye adwuma. High sense deep freezer nie. Ayema fiefiem. Choba, any cold stuff when you na. One we supermarket, hotels, restaurants, any pubs. Yemu here nie. High sense display fridge. Every 25th July, akopim 5th August. Yenim sense seal top and so for my day. Fridge amabobo so nyina. Ya tete so mo say who? It's a high sense showroom now. I want memo baby. I want Jodie. High sense. Everyday prices for everyday people.
Hello. The thing is, you know exactly what you're selling. But the people that need to know what you're selling to buy it, they don't. At M-Clan, we conceptualize, we script, we produce compelling video communication to shine the brightest light on your business, to expedite, accelerate your growth. Think of us as the creative department of your business. We work with you to get you exactly where you want to be. Let us be the ones to shoot your next TV commercial. We promise to deliver. Call this number.
Restoration.
Does your toothpaste give you complete fresh protection? New Close-Up Toothpaste Complete Fresh Protection takes care of your 5 important oral care needs. It gives you strong teeth, prevents cavities, cleans deeply, fights germs, and gives you fresh breath. Complete fresh protection from close-up.
In our quest to make it to heaven, there are so many things Christians take for granted. So many things that we feel we do not need on this journey to eternity. Our guest today is going to throw light on a lot of things that we have for so long not been considering as Christians to add up to our journey to eternity. Our guest today is first and foremost my husband. Yes, and I want to state that my husband. I know his wife is watching and she agrees that I am wife. And he is also my pastor. Please, let's welcome very Reverend Dr. Akoa Kofi Amoateng. Osofo.
Thank you,
Akoa. I'm your wife. Anti.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Who can say no?
Nobody can say no. It's undisputed. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
The first time I heard you preach about the topic we're going to be discussing, I was blown away. I asked myself, so what have we been thinking as a people? Most of the time when we talk about our culture as a people, we seem to think that it is something that is ungodly. But you gave me an eye-opener on that. So I'll first want to know, when you say symbolic theology, what is it?
Well, symbolic, which is of course from symbols, is what life is about. I keep telling my students that life is about symbols. Symbols created and defined for us, which some might call culture, is what guides, directs, prohibits, and make life meaningful for us. Symbolic theology, more or less, is theology from our own culture. The symbols created for us, for our understanding. When I say us, I do not mean even Africans alone. I mean people of all cultures all over the world can look into their culture and find meaning about God. God has been speaking to all peoples around the world. So a way of looking into your culture for making meaning of God is what I call symbolic theology.
For us as Ghanaians, we have seen our adinkra symbols time and over. And we just say, okay, adinkra symbol, that's it. Mm-hmm. But when you kind of moved it from our understanding of adinkra symbol, you moved it and brought it to the church. Mm. Then you realize that our ancestors knew God. Mm-hmm. It's not like they did not know who God was. Mm-hmm. They knew God and they had their own way of communicating with God. How are we able to marry these symbols with religion?
The symbols in themselves are religious. And a lot of them are religious. For instance, you talk about, and let me correct this first. I'm not the first person to mainstream the symbols in the church. But if you look at my book, you come to a session where I say, if you go to the Holy Spirit Cathedral at Asylum Down, mm-hmm. you see that where the sanctuary is, you see some symbols displayed there. Our brothers and sisters in the Roman Catholic Church are miles ahead of some of these things, but I am mainstreaming it in the, what I permit me to say, the evangelical stream of Christianity. But what I tried doing, understanding that Jesus is God who became human being. And when Jesus became a human being, he did not become general human being as black people, white people, Chinese. No. Jesus became a human being within a specific culture and used the symbols of that culture to point us to God, make meaning of God and point us to God. So I started looking into my own culture to see what can be used in our culture. How has God been speaking to my ancestors in ways that make it meaningful for them? And I discovered that one of the easiest symbols that we see and we can use is the adinkra symbols. And the adinkra symbols betray a lot of information for us. They betray, one, the reality that our ancestors knew God. Even before missionaries came down, they knew God. What missionaries came to do for us is a definition of, I don't want to be using big English.
You are allowed.
A definition of what salvation is all about. In the classroom, I would say soteriological significance.
And a big impact.
Yeah. Yeah. What salvation is all about. Making it, concretizing it for us. That this, when we talk about salvation, this is it. But the general knowledge of God has been with us. God has been speaking with us all along. Except that some of us were not listening, and therefore we didn't know that God has been speaking. For if people did not know God, and they have a symbol they call Owo Kuminyame.
Owo Kuminyame.
Owo Kuminyame. And quite apart from that, there's another symbol that says Nyamimu Namewu. And that's a symbol of the Kumasi Central Market.
Okay.
Nyamimu and Namewu. And the same people, in the same breath, will give you a symbol they call Owo Kuminyame. I think this is what the Bible teaches us in a lot of the places. The God who does not die. Onayo, nyami onayo. The God, nyami ongu, ohoda. They knew about that. But what is strange is that they also know that this God who does not die was killed by death. There seemed to be a contradiction somewhere. Yeah. Now, if they didn't know God, they didn't know about Christ and his sacrifice, what are they doing talking about the God who died? And my argument and submission is that even if they did not know God, they have something that those of us in the business of theology can use to point our people to something that white people have been trying with theses, about 600 pages of thesis in philosophical domains to explain. Can be explained by just a symbol for my people. And they understand it. That's what symbolic theology is all about.
Looking at the kind of Christianity we have now, it's going to be strange for most people to go to church and have all these symbols there. Because I
used to think like that. I used to think that the adinkra symbols were symbols of our traditional gods. Until by God's own activity in me, I realized that no, they are not. They are not. You know the drums we play in church? You know they are the talking drums of the Akan people that were transported to the Western world and fabricated with metals and polished. Their finishing is always good. We take
the wood,
the pride in having something that is not so smooth, and call it traditional. They take it from us and make it smooth and polish it. The finishing is so smooth. And then we envy that. When in fact the idea comes from here. So it's the same thing. The knowledge of God has been with us in its crude form. And when it comes to knowledge of God, the crude form is always the best. It's unadulterated. And it's been with us for all these years. And then we take it from another culture and we do not do proper and critical contextualization. We don't process it in a way that our people will understand. But I believe that there will continue to be different types of Christianities in the world, because the questions Christianity is answering, addressing, will be different from the person in America, will be different for the person in Europe, and it will be different for the person in Africa. And if I zoom it down, for the person in Ghana, for example, we are not dealing with racism. No George Floyd is killed here. So our Christianity will have different questions. The interrogations will be different. For me, as an African who was in the US and lived among a people who pretended and laughed when they really were not laughing towards me, I need a Jesus who speaks to racism. A Jesus who will make people understand that we are all human beings and we don't need races. So when I go to the Bible, what I'm looking for is not a sophisticated philosophical Jesus. It's a simple, unifying Jesus, a Jesus who speaks against races. So the creation narrative, for example, in Genesis, make meaning for me. You know that in the early days of anthropological studies in the Western world, when they were trying to make meaning of the differences in the cultures, they got to a stage where they said, they call it plural creators. That is not one God that created all of us. For if one God created all of us, how come these people are different and these people are different? I want a Bible that speaks about one God creating all, to humble everybody in spite of your advancement in technology and whatever. It is one God who created us all. Basically, bottom line, we are all human beings, created from, not from the sky, so the dust of the earth, breathed into, who became human beings. That language that spells humility and the acceptance of other people is what I look for in my theologization in the Bible, from the Bible.
With all your experience, traveling to the United States, coming back home, trying to find this God, how difficult has that journey been?
It's been very difficult, and one of the reasons you just mentioned, indirectly, you were trying to ask me whether this will be accepted in the mainline church. Yeah. I cannot say that I'm the first person to have spoken about the need for the use of symbols. Nobody does. Even the creator of Apple was not the original thinker. Some people have done some thinking already, and then you top it and finish it, and it becomes useful. So that is what I have seen. In this book, I spoke to Archbishop Emeritus Peter Akwesi. I flew down times to interview him at that cost. And because I came to him because I know he was already in the area speaking about some of these things. And I wanted to know, what has he seen in these areas that is making him push and push and push and push. So I owe some of the credit to him. And then when he has spoken to me about 4 times, we had 4 sessions, I saw the sense in what he was saying. And then I processed this information and what I got from other sources into creating this symbolic theology thing. For people do not want to accept what is their own because of what we've been taught in the church, that this is the belief of the church. This is the creeds from the Latin credo. Yeah. The creeds of the church, what the church says it believes, were all historical responses to what Christianity is. The church got to a stage and people wanted to define the church for a particular people within a particular context in Europe. And so they came up with the creeds. I believe in God the Father, Almighty, Maker of heaven and earth. They are all responses to existential realities and questions about how to safeguard Christianity. They're all contextual formulations, contextual formulations. And so we get into a stage when we need the type of Christianity that will grow the church. Christianity, because in Europe and in America, the pews are getting empty because of the type of theology they do, the type of biblical interpretation they do. Why? Because people are not relating to that type of biblical interpretation and biblical type of theology. Should we sit down and say we'll not do anything for that emptying of the churches to come to us before we sit up? No. Let us speak God's language in our own language. For when Jesus became a human being, he became a specific human being within a specific culture. When God speaks, he speaks to specific people in their own culture. Any God who does not speak my language is not my God. Yeah. So my God should speak my language. And my language is very symbolic, very, very symbolic.
Wow, I like that. My God should speak my language. This is very deep, and I'm sure most of you are really at the edge of your seats. So, very Reverend Dr. Akoa Kofi Amoateng is also the founder of Africa Gateway Missions. And trust me, it's going to be a very insightful conversation. So kindly don't move away from your sets. We'll be right back after the break.
Restoration. I remember the days I just couldn't go to the gym because it was that time of the month. Yas extra long sanitary pad took the worry away easy.
Yes, comfort, I got yes, confidence, I got yes.
The new Yas Extra Long Sanitary Pad is the joy of every woman. It is extra absorbent and fits perfect. Don't allow anything to hold you back when it's that time.
Wow.
Yes, yes, yes.
Feel confident, stay fresh.
Hi, is it supposed to be that time of the month?
Yes. I got yes, confidence, I got
yes.
We got yes, protection, I got
Yas Extra Long Sanitary Pad for extra comfort.
We got yes, protection.
Hello, your friend Jackie. So we will be a winning who are there just to send me and pimpino. You to me 5 gems if in Kitadia, you need your brucia, your fans, any and down for any. Nanso, what bet to me about home by using Adonko hand sanitizer, debia, any bribia. Every say you to me 5 gems if in Yamansa is so. Adonko hand sanitizer, bet to me about home by debia, free gems, bacteria, you need in home. Adonko hand sanitizer, sure or dog. Never home by
FD ahwehwe said adinkra toimu agia tum say eye.
Would you need high sensible top fridge, weight and trip power? I find me can form a hotel for any students and more hostels na. High sense double door fridge and trip power. Where won't for be and shame man say where a high sense cross door fridge. Emoso a coolant term. It's an inverter technology ne wumutino. Yedum kanya kra akoso ye adwuma high sense deep freezer nie ayema fiefiem choba any cold stock wonyina when we supermarket hotels restaurants any pubs yemu here nie high sense display fridge every 25th July akopim 5th August yenim sense o top and so for my day fridge amabobo so nyina ya tete so wo say who it's a high sense showroom na I will memo baby high sense everyday prices for everyday people.
Does your toothpaste give you complete fresh protection? New Close-Up Toothpaste Complete Fresh Protection takes care of your 5 important oral care needs. It gives you strong teeth, prevents cavities, cleans deeply, fights germs, and gives you fresh breath. Complete fresh protection from Close-Up.
Hello. The thing is, you know exactly what you're selling, but the people that need to know what you're selling to buy it, they don't. At M-Clan, we conceptualize, we script, we produce compelling video communication to shine the brightest light on your business, to expedite, accelerate your growth. Think of us as the creative department of your business. We work with you to get you exactly where you want to be. Let us be the ones to shoot your next TV commercial. We promise to deliver. Call this number.
It's a high sense super crazy giveaway moment, and I am still at Abeka La Paz. I mean, the love here has been awesome, and my winner for today is Millicent. Millie, it's a say. I just smile no crowd. Hey, La Paz for my when you say this is smiley. When you be a casa, no smiley. Now, you himself a restoration. Episode Ben and a yofe. Hey, Nana McBrown, hey, La Paz, what Petriaca. Oh, Biafra, Nana McBrown. Now, what share your dinner with you? Okay, Miss Adam says, I say, you know, if I ain't for radio, so I am channel, in removal, obey a month. Hey, say, hey, restoration for Nana Ewini, hands down. La Paz, from Cray Cray to Cray Cray, will be asked Nana McBrown. Now, I wish I show now, dear, I was here a free show. I learned from it. I want to be like you. Oh, please don't be like me. Be better than me. Okay. I want to be like the way you talk and you advise people. It's very encouraging. So I want to be like you. Oh, that's very humbling. Well, I believe you can be whatever you set your mind to do. There is nothing like stopping. In life, you just need to be focused, you need to be determined, and you need to know where you're going. Life without a plan is like a building without foundation. So have a plan and take each day one day at a time, okay? So I'm here because High Sense would want me to come say thank you to you for watching the show. And so we have this present from High Sense for you. So what do you have to tell High Sense? High Sense, thank you very much, and God bless you. Always buy from you. You have too much. Wow. So that is our winner, Millicent, and we're saying a very big thank you. If you want us to visit you or your community, get in touch with us and we will definitely come your way. Restoration. So that is our winner for this week's High Sense Super Crazy Giveaway moment. And our conversation is still on. I have the very Reverend Dr. Akoa Kofi Amoateng with us. So,
how does it feel interviewing your own husband?
It feels amazing, and I'm so proud. Like, my husband has made me proud. But this conversation is really serious because now, even in Ghana, most people, especially after COVID, do not want to go to church. I heard someone say, COVID my anointing oil, we are still here. So we're here by grace. So they don't see the reason why they have to wake up and go to church. So a lot of people are actually having second thoughts when it comes to Christianity because they feel there is some element of fraud in the church. How are we able to bring all these people back to church?
Okay, fellowship, seriously speaking, every fellowship should start with communication. If I do not understand you, how can you become my friend? And what I see in the church is communication that distances people from reality. Our Jesus should speak the language people understand. And when I say the language people understand, what I mean is our Jesus should be scratching us on the areas where we itch. If I am hungry and you have a Jesus that does not motivate people to feed me or show me the way to food, what type of Jesus is that? If I have children on the streets who are fatherless and motherless, kind of. And I'm always sad about my children and their future. What type of Jesus are you teaching me? The Methodist Church, for example, started in a setting where men would take their salaries and go straight to the bars, buy drink, get booze, and become very responsible. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about Britain, not Africa. And they didn't have the sense of responsibility to educate their children, be serious about medical issues and medical bills. People, men who were so irresponsible that they lived their lives around the bottle. This is where the Methodist Church started. And the Jesus John Wesley preached was a social Jesus. A Jesus who cared about how people lived. Provided food for the hungry. Started schools for the poor who could not afford the then high schools. With a budget that everybody could afford. If your Jesus is speaking these things, then your Jesus is, you know why in Germany, for instance, people frown on the church. When Hitler started his atrocities, the church was quiet.
There was no intervention.
No. So when the people went through it, like you mentioned COVID, they said, we survived ourselves. What do we need a church for? So if a church is not speaking the prophetic language, if the church is not where the poor and needy people are, and if the church is dining with the powers that be in glass palaces, who will take this church seriously?
Let's come back to the symbols. Can we take some of them one after the other? I believe we all know Jinyame. Mm-hmm. What does Jinyame represent?
Jinyame speaks to the sovereignty of God in a way that is far better than any Westerner can articulate it. The sovereignty of the God who has the final say in all things. Is that not what the Bible teaches us? Yeah. So why should I use the same jargons that I see in the Bible, which I do not understand anyway? Mm-hmm. After all, it was written in Hebrew
and Omega.
It's written in Hebrew and Greek. Mm-hmm. But my ancestors provided a symbol they called Jinyame. Everything starts and ends with God. What is the difference between that and Alpha and Omega?
It's the same.
So why worry?
Even in our language, more powerful.
Yeah, because we understand it's more powerful. Jinyame.
Nyame emu namewu.
Nyame emu enamewu. Is that not what is written in Colossians? Or the more sie Yesu mu, esie onyankopon mu. So for anybody to touch me for distraction, that person needs to put God on the surgery table, open him up, dissect, take God and Jesus out, put him on the table, dissect, before they can get access to me. But who can attack God, attack Jesus and get to me?
Impossible.
God does not die, so I will not die. Who can articulate this better than the symbols, the adinkra symbols?
Can you give us some more symbols?
Oh, there's a symbol, according to J.B. Damquest's book on God, written, I think, 1944-46. Damquest cites a symbol he calls Nyame Bibi Wasoro. The actual name of the symbol has been shortened by people as it circulates amongst us. Mm-hmm. The actual name, that's what adinkra symbols do. Okay. They have a long name and a short name. Mm-hmm. So I can tell you the long name of a lot of them. Okay. So Nyamingu Namewu, it's actually, they call it Nyamingu, but it's actually Nyamingu Namewu. Mm-hmm. And then there's a symbol that I was alluding to from Damquest's book. Mm-hmm. Nyame Bibi Wasoro. That's the shortened name. Okay. The long name is Nyame Bibi Wasoro na Mamensanka. Oh. That speaks to the providence of God. Mm-hmm. And according to Dankwa, King Prempe of the Asantis had that symbol drawn on a mat in front of his bed. And any morning when he wakes up, he steps on it and looks up. And that's a symbolic prayer. My supplies, my protection, my everything, I'm looking up to you.
Yes, he will supply your needs.
Yeah, the providence of God, which includes his caretaking of the weak. The symbol is a prayer. And that is why that symbol is even on the tomb first phantom froms. You see it even on the tomb first. You see, when you go to Menshia, there are so many things you see that you think they are for artistic purposes. No, they are not.
They are symbolic.
They are symbolic, deep symbolic communication. Like the phantom from, when they're beating it. It's in this book. A picture of that is in this book. They're beating it with the Nyami Bibi was Roma Mensanka. They are praying, oh. They are not worshiping the gods, oh. They're speaking to the Almighty Sovereign God. Look down on us in mercy and protect us. Give us what we need. That is what they are saying.
Wow.
When Otumfuo is meeting the paramount chiefs, most of the time, specifically, the adinkra symbol that would be around his headband would be in Kabi. Two fish or lizards with each other's tail in each other's mouth. You bite mine, I bite yours. And this symbol was created by the patriarch king of the German kingdom in Brown region and part in Abidjan. When the kingdom was on the verge of a civil war, he dreamt this and got the name Obinkobi. A lot of the times, the kings that make the Asante kingdom, the Asante nation, a lot of the times he would wear the Obinkabi symbol on his headband. And I'm saying it's not artistic display. It is a deep communication. I think that we do not need philosophy. What we need is semiosophy, symbolic knowledge. And so he wears this semiosophitically and he's saying that we all work together to preserve this nation. You have your tail in my mouth, I have my tail in your mouth. We are interdependent. If you bite my tail and I bite your tail, we all die. Is that not in the Bible? In Matthew chapter 5, verse 38 to 40, Jesus is talking about, it was told of the people in the past, an eye for an eye. But I tell you that do not pay back, let me put it in my own language, do not pay back the evil done you. What is he saying? If you continue to pluck eyes, eye for eye, everybody will become blind. You all become blind. And who show the way? This, my people do not have the lettered Bible to understand this. They are the symbol to communicate this. And that is the first symbol ever created of all the adinkra symbols. The Obinkabi symbol is the first one created. You know that when we're going into election, I'm reminding you of something. And there's tension. There will be civil war, there will be war, there will be this, there will be this. On national TV, that is the symbol they project. The Obinkabi symbol.
Wow.
Yeah, as a way of telling Ghanaians that we all are in it together. Yeah, so if you bite and I bite, we destroy ourselves. And that was the way Nana Adinkra was able to stop the war that was coming, the civil war. When he explained it to them. So they come with messages. You see, a symbol is a piece that carries a mythological story. Now, in the world out there, when they say a myth, what they mean is something that is not true.
Yeah.
In theology, that is not it. Theology, a myth is truth that is concealed in codes. So that anybody who does not have the codes will not understand it. It's truth. Like how God created us and how a woman ate the fruit and so separated from God. You know, there's that in our own culture. That old lady who was pounding fufu, God was so close, the old lady was pounding fufu and was always hitting God with a person. And God said, and it's a old lady, still a woman, was hitting God with a person. God said, stop this, you are disturbing me. Even when I'm sleeping, you are disturbing me. The lady would not understand. One morning she woke up and God had removed himself to far away. Is it not the separation of God that has been given us in a myth? It's truth that there was sin, there was disobedience, and God was moved away.
Which other symbol can we talk about? I see a lot of them in your outfit.
Yeah. You want me to talk about them?
Yes.
Let me pick the ones that I love.
Okay.
Our brother did this, so he chose them, but they are relevant. This one is called when somebody truly loves you, the person understands that as human beings, you offend each other. But the offense will not push the person so far that the person will not come back. It's something that speaks about against divorce, for example. So in a sense, my people believe that people who go into divorce never love themselves anyway.
Oh. To begin with.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate thing for them. No matter what, the person will come back. They don't need to write a whole dissertation. They show this symbol and we understand. Is that satanic?
That isn't.
There's nothing about the symbols that are satanic. Look at this. And this is the Obin Kebi that I just explained. Two animals. And you begin to watch Otumfo's dressing on big debes. He'll be having this around the headband. And he's communicating. This is freedom. Fahudie. No human being is to be enslaved. Let every human being taste freedom. We were created to be free. Don't enslave anybody because you have and they don't have. This symbol is pregnant with the meaning of the need for people to be facilitated into freedom. This one is Insa. Have you heard this proverb? Yeah. If you know quality things and you value them, you don't go for cheaper ones. On Tago. Is that satanic? Why do you think we married you? Of all women in the world. Because you're the papa.
That's deep.
So the symbols speak things that the Western world would have to write about 800 pages of book to explain. But my grandmother, my grandfather, great-grandmother, great-grandfather understood them. Why should that not come with me into Christianity to make meaning of God?
There is one like a star.
This one? Yeah. An uncertain time.
An uncertain time.
It's a symbol of wisdom, creativity, things like that. Because the Anansi, for us, the Anansi is what the oil is for the Americans. But you know, a symbol of wisdom. And Anansi for us is that a symbol of wisdom, discernment, creativity. Is that satanic?
That isn't.
So there's nothing satanic about this. If the symbols are satanic, what about the sons of Solomon? We talk about the woman's breast shaped like, have you read that book?
Yes, I have.
If it's satanic, what about that book? God uses everything to communicate to his people. And if I begin to teach you the message in the Songs of Solomon, you open your mouth. Deep revelations in there. But you look at it on the surface and it's like blasphemy. It's like profane.
Yeah.
It's not. To the mind that is corrupt, everything is corrupt.
So if you look at a church like the Methodist Church, during Easter, for instance, you have some of the singing band or the music groups sing Nyom Kro. Before we go like, I sure say Nyom Kro. Is it also depicting the greatness of God through our culture?
Our culture, which is the best way. God is a cultural God because he became a cultured Jew when he became a human being and used the culture to make meaning of himself. A God who is not a cultural God cannot communicate to any human being. He will always use the cultures of the people. Let me tell you something. When you come to the book of Genesis, it is written for us that God created the earth and put the human being at the center of creation to steward it for him. That's a cultural language. I'm giving you just two of them. That's a cultural language. In those days, when two nations went to war, the one that is vanquished loses her lands and becomes a vassal state and be paying tribute to the victorious king. Now, to indicate that that vanquished land belongs to the victorious king, the cultural practice was the victorious king will erect a statue and place it at the center of that land. And whoever understood the culture, by seeing that statue of the other king, immediately understands that this territory belongs to him. So when God says that after creation, he created us in his image and put us in the garden to take care of it for us, he's stamping his authority of ownership. And this is why David in Psalm 24 will say, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Everything, our presence, human beings' presence in the world shows that this world belongs to God. And I hear too, no. Our presence shows that God owns it all.
So this has been really insightful, and I have the book, and you signed it for me. Thank you very much. I feel very privileged. So where can we get this book to buy?
Well, on the international horizon, this book is on Amazon.
Okay.
In Kindle format and in hard copy, soft copy format and hard copy format. The hard copy on Amazon, I believe, is about $60. And the soft copy is about $40.
Okay.
But the Kindle is $20.
Okay.
But apart from that, if you need a copy, you come to Trinity Theological Seminary. I left copies with the receptionist.
Okay.
And here...
That's where you lecture?
Yeah, okay. That's where I teach.
I like the way you're modest about it. So me try there.
Yeah. So if you come to Trinity and you are not a student, you will pay 100 cedis for the book. But if you are a student from any institution, you need only to be a student.
With an ID card.
With an ID card.
Okay.
And then they will sell it to you for 80 cedis. 80 cedis. Okay. But those in Kumasi do not need to come
all the way to Accra.
There's a Shell filling station, a gas station opposite Kemi.
Okay.
Yeah, we have copies of that book.
Okay, just before you get to EcoBank, Edum.
When you're coming up to EcoBank, the Shell there.
Okay.
You can get copies there. I don't know how it's going for, but there are copies there.
There are copies there.
And very soon we'll put some at Vantage Points in Takoradi and Sunyani.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're watching us, kindly make sure you get this book. You're not going to regret it. It's about time we develop the right mindset to aid us to make the right choices when it comes to our belief and our religion. I believe that if we're not careful, religion can actually take us to places we do not want to be. Yeah. So make it a point to get this book. Get knowledge. Knowledge is something that you cannot buy with money. Get knowledge, and you will be glad you did. So, Sofo, before I let go of you, it's time for a high sense moment. So kindly pick a card, then we'll take it from there.
Okay.
Yeah, from here.
This is in front of me.
Okay.
So I took that.
All right. Thank you for coming. You take home a high sense rice cooker.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Then let me come tomorrow to you.
So Asaf Mami will be very happy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, so this is yours from Hisense.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming.
Can I thank Hisense?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, I thank Hisense because, in fact,
everything in your house.
Everything in my house is Hisense.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, because I know the products are good. Thank you, Hisense, and thank you, my wife, Nanama. God bless you all.
Okay, so this is also from Yas to you. Okay. Yes, a lot of products in there. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Yas, for all the support over the ages. God bless you and expand your territories.
Amen. Amen. Well, viewers, so it has been a very insightful episode, and I am sure you're going to ask us to bring the Very Reverend back very soon. Let's learn. Let's get knowledge. Let's know what is good for us. We shouldn't just, I always say that as Black people, we always want someone to read and come back and bring us their knowledge. But there is a difference between first-hand knowledge and second-hand knowledge. It's about time we stand up and acquire first-hand knowledge and not second-hand knowledge. Because if you want second-hand knowledge, you're always going to get some chaff. So always go for first-hand knowledge. Thank you very much for joining us today. And always do remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. We'll see you next week.
Welcome to the end of the tunnel. I see a bright light shining through, and it's just for you. There is hope.